Hey guys, Justin here, and welcome back to another video in our 5 for 5 series on music marketing mindset. In today's video, we'll be addressing a common misconception, and that's the belief that you need a record label in order to have any kind of success as a recording artist. That used to be true 20 years ago, but it's just not the case anymore, and I'll explain why. Now, before we get started, I do want to say that signing to a record label can have a lot of great benefits and can really help you become successful. So I don't want to give the impression that signing to a record label is a bad thing or that they serve no purpose. What I do want you to understand is that a record label is not necessary to having success as a recording artist. The reason that I want to address this issue is that for decades it was the case that recording artists had to have a record label in order to have any kind of success at all. There are three main reasons why this was the case. First, producing an album was way too expensive for most artists to even think about doing without the financial support of a label. Second, it was nearly impossible to get your albums distributed into retail stores or played on the radio without a record label. And third, the cost of marketing and advertising was just way too high. Without a large advertising budget, no one was ever going to hear your music. So what's changed? Well, now virtually anyone can produce an album from home without setting foot into a recording studio. Most likely the device that you're watching this video on already has recording software on it that can be used to produce an album. Nowadays, laptops, tablets, and even your cell phones come with software that can be used to record an album. Now, the quality might not be that great, but the capability is there. With a few $100 invested into some decent mics, you can really get a great sounding recording if you know what you're doing. A lot of musicians are also using software like Reason or Ableton Live for every step of the process, from writing music to producing it, and it can all be done on a laptop without any mics or additional hardware. And I don't want to undercut the value of going into a studio and having an album recorded and produced by a professional audio engineer using state-of-the-art equipment. You'll still most likely get a much better quality recording than if you try to do it yourself, but even the cost of getting into a studio and having a professional quality album produced is far less than it used to be. That has everything to do with how much technology has changed and how easy it is for musicians to produce their own albums at home. 20 or 30 years ago, it would often cost over $100,000 to book studio time and hire professional engineers and producers to create an album. Most recording artists could never afford that, so a label was needed to advance them the money to have an album created. That's just not the case anymore. So record labels aren't the necessity that they used to be in that regard. In addition to advancing artists the money needed to produce the album, a record label is also needed to get the album distributed into retail stores and played on the radio. Most people don't buy physical music anymore. The majority of people are downloading digital copies of albums rather than going into a record store and buying a cassette or CD. You no longer need help getting your album into retail stores because nobody's buying music there anyway. People are going to iTunes instead. And less people are listening to the radio. Most people are just logging into Spotify and other streaming services. Anyone can easily get their music distributed to iTunes and Spotify using music aggregators like SpinUp, CD Baby, and TuneCore. It's less than $50 a year to have your music distributed through one of these services, and they'll even track your royalties for you and make sure you get paid. I recently created a short video explaining exactly how to do this yourself, which I'll share a link to in the description. Now, the final barrier to having any success without a record label was the cost of advertising. Now, with the right strategy, virtually anybody can leverage social media and even paid ad platforms like Facebook and YouTube to get exposure on an extremely small budget. If you want to get started with a proven strategy that countless independent artists are already using to have a tremendous amount of success without the help of a record label and without a huge marketing budget, check out the free training I've created for you. There's a link in the video description, or you can simply open a new tab in your browser and go to jammob.com/start to get instant access to this powerful music marketing strategy for free. So remember, having the support and financial backing of a record label can still be extremely valuable, but it's not the necessity that it once was. It's now easier than ever for you as an independent artist to get exposure and sell your music using the internet. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you have, please leave a thumbs up and comment below. I've got another great music marketing mindset video coming your way tomorrow, so be sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already and tick the little bell icon to be notified as soon as the next video is live. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.